Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Is that better?
I don't know yet.
Is that better?
Yeah. 100%. My name is Trevor. How do you do?
He's a hot connection. How about you?
Our lead guests are off the chain.
These shout-outs will be insane.
Alex and Dee, and also Crystal.
Fans lined up from here to Bristol.
Alex and Lauren, and also Claudia.
Guests with beauty from Sabadia.
Oriana, Kate, and Brian, too. Hotter than cyan.
Wait, ain't that blue?
My heart's so full. Yeah, it's fatal.
Season 4 so hot, we flipping tables.
Unleashing this hotness, I'm feeling grateful.
Let's get started.
Don't be shameful. The more cringe, the better. All right, let's connect together
And we feel all right.
All right. I'm so excited.
Tingly
I'm
all over.
I'm tingly.
Tingly.
I'm tingly. It's Hotness. Unleash her. Alrighty. So welcome to season 4, episode 8, which turns out to be the surprise finale of the season and maybe of the entire show. Like, we might just call it good as of tonight, where I have the dynamic duo, the power couple of LinkedIn, Kate Irwin and Ben Irwin, in the house from Syracuse, New York, pretty sure, and Elijah from somewhere west of Toronto in Canada. And
Accurate.
loving that. And here we are, right? Here we are. So we want to make sure that we've got a few folks in the house who are coming to join us tonight. I'm not seeing any comments yet. So if you have gathered here today, and are in the audience yet, maybe we're going to let these notifications roll out. But I wanted to give a quick word about why we are calling it good, at least for the moment. And it's basically that, man, a show like this takes a lot of love, right? A lot of love. It takes a lot of focus and dedication. And as it needs to step up another level, what I've found is that I gotta give my love to some other stuff right now, right? And that's just how life is. And I've been here before with this show, right? At the end of season 2, made it for about 5-6 episodes, something like that. And I had some family commits, and we wrapped the show for about a year, give or take. And then it was time again. And so came back, and that was season 3, so that would have been last August-ish. And then Elijah was like, dude, you need some help, your show's not very good. And he came in and helped and made it a lot better, and he's been hanging with me ever since. And so we made 11 episodes last season, and we made it to 8 this season, but we're both need to shift our focus elsewhere.
I think I was a little more positive than that, just for the record, but whatever.
Well, you said there's hope for you.
Well, you were in a funk, and then we
was kind of
unfunked you, and then we're here.
Okay.
Having a good time with your hat and things and the beads that make weird noises. It's nice.
The beads, I changed the beads. I've changed the beads this, for season 4. I upgraded from the brown beads to the black beads, right? So it's kind of got this sort of shimmery, snaky vibe, right? It's kind of all
12-year-old and me can't handle this brown and black bead stuff. But
it's all synchronized, right? So we're doing that thing.
Family show.
Yeah,
except when Trevor talks about his beads.
Yeah, well, you haven't said the magic words yet.
You're going to make Ben uncomfortable. Like he's going to quit.
I know. He's already starting to sweat. I can see it.
It's like, you guys are weird.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
That's our speciality. Okay, so I wanted to say welcome to everybody here. So Desiree, yes, we're taking a pause, and it's for at least 6 months. So, well, maybe a little less, but not before October 1st, right? I want to move through the rest of second quarter and then through the third quarter, and then we'll see where we end up in the fourth quarter. So that's the plan. May look a little different by the time we get there. We'll see. I don't know, but I'm committing to. I need better part of 6 months to get my head screwed back on straight. All right, so there you go. With that, I want to say welcome to everybody who's in the house. All right, Mr. Kenny Dunner, thank you for coming out. Thank you for leaving your awesome comments, right? Beautiful gem of a gentleman. Yes, thank you so much. If you haven't had a Kenny Dunner comment, you are missing out, and we are grateful to Kenny for what he offers us here. Lisa Vivek had an episode planned, but then I canceled it. I'm very sorry. So my heartfelt, apologies to her and her group. Hopefully, if we can get in this season 5 together, she'll be one of the first people I call. So thank you for coming out, Lisa and Wendy Ouellette. Thank you for stopping in. Nick as well. Thank you so much for coming out. That's Nick and Guy Galinda, who has her own publishing company that she has just got off the ground and is doing amazing things with. And please reach out to her if you're thinking about publishing a book. All right. With that, Kate and Ben. Now, I know Kate probably better than she knows me, I think, because I follow her more closely, I think.
Because you follow me closely.
Well, okay. And all right. And there's a reason for that, right? And it's not weird, right? It's not weird. It's just that you made me laugh my little ass off a few years ago. So, Elijah, if for the benefit of everybody, let's just get it out of the way. Let's just make it happen right now. Can you play, please, or cue up the video, those 2 videos that we've been discussing? Are you ready for that? Please.
Get out of live mode. Trevor forgets that I monitor the chat, so let me get that.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. I context switch.
Should I offer a little context or just let them speak for themselves?
No context needed.
No context. We're just gonna play them and then we're gonna talk about them.
All right.
That's what we're gonna do.
Did you have anything to say about it before we do, Trevor? Or should we just get?
I'm gonna say that the first video, right, that you're going to play, I found over on TikTok. Now you're going to find we're playing it out of LinkedIn, but I found it on TikTok because at the time, everybody was like, TikTok's going to take over B2B. That's what's happening. Everybody's going to go to TikTok. So I went on and I started like, who the hell's creating B2B marketing content on TikTok? Sassy Kate.
Yeah.
Sassy
there weren't
Kate.
A lot of people back then.
No, there was you and Tim, and then there was another dude who I've since lost, and then there was Janelle Amos was out there doing her thing, and that was Chris Walker tried to, but his content was trash. So okay, here we go. This was so good. All right,
it's magic.
Any positive updates on my below email? Hi Kate, unfortunately we've been unable to connect thus far. With that in mind, did you have a chance to consider my last email? Can I get 10 minutes of your valuable time for a quick call to showcase our database useful for you?
Okay. So that was the first video that I found. So what? I'm watching this thing and I'm like, okay, I've sent this email, and then it gets better because I find the second one. So Elijah, can you please play the second one, and then we'll talk about them real quick.
Any positive updates on my below email? Hi Kate, it's the end of the year, but not the end of hopes, 'cause I am here to know if you have any leftover budget that you'd like to spend on demand generation at the end of this year or the beginning of 2022.
Okay. So you guys, you gotta know.
3 years later, people are still sending those emails. So this is timeless, Kate. This is timeless.
Timeless.
Unfortunately, timeless.
It's timeless, and the emails are still the same. Okay, so the funny part is, I sell demand generation services. Okay, I work. Infuse is the world's leading demand generation services company. All right. I own that.
Yeah.
Right? They're a great company, 1,400 global employees. I've been with them for 7.5 years. Proud to work here. We have a great set of offers. It's awesome. But at the same time, I compete with every other ding dong who's out here selling demand generation. Do you have any leftover budget? And I have to admit, a time or two in my career of 20 something years, I have sent that email, that exact email. And so when I saw that in 2022, right? Because I had already been with Infuse since 2017, right? I've been with Infuse for 5 years by this time.
Long time.
I'm like, oh, bro, this is just okay. Time out. And so at that moment, I'm like, I felt a kinship, right? And yes, I did. And so the point is that content really can have an impact.
It can connect people.
It
Are
can.
you
It can have a
taking requests, Kate?
Request.
A third?
You know what I
It's-
will say is,
is that
if you send me a bad email, I will turn it into a song.
you-
Because I have done it before, and this is kind of inspiring me to do it again. So
Would you be interested in talking or singing about the reply all feature that people love to use on employee and enterprise-wide emails that go out to thousands of people hitting I unsubscribe me, please, on the reply all? That could be the title of the song. Unsubscribe me now. That'd be great. I
love
hate
that
those
song.
for the record. Can't stand
That's
them.
brilliant idea. I'll put you as a co-writer on the song, because I feel like you would deserve the credit for that.
I love
there's like a
writing
tune.
things.
Isn't there like isn't there an 80s tune like Hear
It
Me
sounds
Now or something?
It sounds like a Sum 41 song, like Unsubscribe Me Now or something. I don't know.
There's a
Yeah.
song out there for that.
Unsubscribe me now.
There's a
Those
song
punk
for it,
rockers are crazy. I tell
And
you.
you know, and you don't even have to make it up anymore. You can just, you can
Look at your
AI the
inbox
thing
and then cry a little bit and then sing a song.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. It's all good. So Kate,
Yeah.
at the time, now you've been through a job or two.
Oh,
three,
many.
or
Oh,
something
many.
since then.
Many. Isn't
'Cause
that wild? That makes me look like such a little job hopper. So
No,
yeah,
I no, because I followed your story,
Could be a
right? So
freelancer.
you were
That's
working
okay.
for that Danish company, right?
I was working. Yes, I was working for a Danish company, and then I got laid off. And everyone in the US got laid off. So I knew it was coming. They had been going through layoffs for like a year, and I said, you know what? I am just gonna go all in on LinkedIn, like for other companies, doing LinkedIn for different companies and for executives. And I said, I'm just gonna do this on my own. And so I had a couple clients while I was still working there. And then when I got laid off, I had a good little client roster that I've built since then. So yeah, it's been fun.
So, all right. So tell me about the services that you are providing to this mystery crew of people, because you're a ghostwriter. I mean, that's what you say.
It's a mystery. Who I ghostwrite for is a mystery, but but the company pages I manage are not a mystery. It's very, very public, and I think sometimes people can tell that it's me because like I put my own little weird touch on it. But
sort of like the Kate's version of the EM dash or the rocket emoji kind of.
like my own little like weird verbal tics and stuff like that. Like you could probably tell. But yeah, so I work with a bunch of companies. I work with Goldcast, I work with Chili Piper, I work with User Gems, a few other companies, ThoroughPass, and basically I manage all of their LinkedIn content fractionally, which is super fun because I'm a writer at heart. Like I've been a writer professionally for over 12 years. And then I got into B2B SaaS. I guess it was like 2020 I got into B2B SaaS, and I've really been liking it ever since. But it's tough out there, man. Like there's layoffs, there's all these changes. You have to like, people get laid off and then you absorb their responsibilities. So I just was like, you know what? I will happily absorb responsibilities, but I must get paid for it. I'm just gonna like add a bunch of jobs and kind of like have more control of my destiny, I guess.
So and you've been pretty successful. I mean, that's quite a roster. Those are reasonably well known brands. If you're in the B2B SaaS space, I mean, if you're kind of in and around it, you kind of know that, right? the whole system is a bit of a Ponzi, I think, because there's
that's what's
right,
fun about it.
we're all just buying from each other, right?
Yeah.
And trying to stay
Yeah.
afloat, right? So that's happening. But to what do you attribute your unusual level of B2B SaaS success? I mean, what's your secret sauce? Because there's a lot of people looking for it, right? There's a lot of people out here who are trying to make it.
So I think that the few things are timing. So because I kind of recognize this need, I used to be a head of content and I used to hire freelancers because it was so hard to get headcount. Like I couldn't do it. I had to prove out, concepts before I could ever hire somebody full time. So there was this need for these gap fillers. And since I am such an easily bored little job hopper, I said, what if I was one of these gap fillers and I saw myself as this person who, comes in, learns about what you're doing and kind of does it for like an affordable price, like way cheaper than somebody full-time, but also I have 5 of these. So that makes me a very hefty paycheck, like all of those together. So
there you go.
I just said, you know what, fractional. And I don't know if this will always be a viable business model, but I will say right now, the way that the industry is working, it's a volatile time and it's so much easier to get, fractional headcount. So to be honest, it's been working for me so far. I've really been loving it.
Nice. All right. Well, congratulations. So at some point along the way, you married Ben.
I did. We met each other almost like 11 and a half years ago. And we married about a little over 5 years ago.
Okay. All right. So well done. I know I don't know Ben, right?
He's
but
great.
I know of Ben, right?
He's
I know.
quiet.
Well, I mean, we're going to find out.
Not for long.
We're going to put Ben right in the middle of the hot seat here. So I know of you, sir, right? Because your wife talks about you, right? She refers to you. I know that you held some, like, in my mind, you held some sort of court, right? Like not like a legal court, but like you held court amongst your people. And Dan Roth has just popped in saying that you are the best guest that I have ever had.
Aww.
Okay. Right. Now that's great. Saying something because Dan has also said that I should be wearing sumo pants. So, I mean, we'll just leave it at that. So, I'm going to say, like, you're at the high end of Dan's, quality spectrum here. So, listen, I want to know, Dan's been through a lot the last couple of years, and so, I want to support Dan as best I can. So let's start there. Why would Dan say something so profound about you, Ben? How do you know Dan?
I think the only reason Dan would say that is because he's a dirty, dirty liar. But no.
Nice quotable quote. I like that.
There you go. I love it.
I think Dan and I are part of a growing number of folks who work very closely in service of teachers transitioning out of the classroom, transitioning into other careers, and generally working with job seekers and folks who are open to work on LinkedIn. That is the bulk of my audience as someone who spent 15 years in academia as an instructor, as a writing center director, and now working outside of the classroom, but as an instructional designer. I made my own transition out of the classroom and now really feel an obligation to help other folks like myself who didn't know what they were doing, struggled with the potential of switching careers, potentially switching industries, and finding their way in a sea of charlatans and snake oil salesmen, explicitly looking to exploit folks like transitioning teachers, many of whom are really excited to find other career opportunities, but who may need some help. And that has sort of unfortunately become a very exploitable industry.
Okay. So Dan's just on fire tonight. So, thank you for coming out, sir. I just keep it rolling, buddy. I want to give us all you got. All right. So I want to know what instructional design means. That's not a. I've heard that term. But I've never like gotten it. I never talked to an instructional designer before, so I don't really know what the hell you're talking about.
So I'm going to grossly oversimplify this in a way
Perfect.
that will frustrate anyone actually in the field.
Okay.
ID work itself can take a variety of forms. It exists in kind of the corporate world, in academia, and in the nonprofit sector. Technically, instructional design has been around since kind of World War II, essentially. And to boil it down, it is helping to create materials and an environment where other folks can learn. So, in a modern context, in the corporate world, that usually means designing onboarding, designing training, designing professional development, right? Where it's an environment where you specifically have information that folks need to learn and apply in the context of their role. In academia, where I'm working now, that means helping faculty and other subject matter experts to design courses and to design materials for students. In the nonprofit world, that oftentimes takes the form of not only training employees, but conducting various kinds of outreach as you're educating folks about your service or about the work that you're doing.
Okay, got it. Well, thank you for explaining that. Now, this note about transitioning teachers is interesting to me personally because my son is a high school Spanish teacher, and there's been some cuts due to budget, cuts, whatever. Like that's a thing apparently now that we have to deal with, and because he's hasn't finished his provisional status yet, that he may be facing a significant cutback of his employment. Now, out here in the good old Northwest Washington State, a high school Spanish teacher is a great job. It like functionally it is. I mean, it's hard work, but it's pays reasonably well. It is, and it obviously you have the benefit of 12 weeks off a year, which for him is really nice because he's going to go to Spain and live it up during summer. So in any case, we're hopeful that doesn't happen, but he may be a transitioning teacher far sooner than he had hoped, but maybe getting back into it. So these things are top of mind, right? It's like sometimes they transition because there's no job, right? It's not their choice. It's thrust upon them. So any case, all right. Well, thank you for fleshing that out for me. So, all right. So you and now, what I really want to know is because you're both like major active players on LinkedIn, right? Kate, you said I live on LinkedIn. I'm employed by LinkedIn. I'm basically not. I don't work for LinkedIn, but no. I'm here as a function of it being here.
If LinkedIn stops being a platform, I will have to go back to other forms of copywriting, and I'll do it, but it would suck. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I want to know, and Ben, it strikes me that you're very active as well. You have a significant follower account. You're posting all the time. That doesn't just happen, right? Now, is Kate ghostwriting for you?
No, I can't afford her.
Okay, got it. Perfect. All right. So how do you work? How do you make this work? I mean, there's like my wife. She has nothing to do with LinkedIn. Like she's like she has a profile, but it's like a fake name and no image, nothing like that. It's just a secret stealth. But you guys, you're here like literally on the show, whereas this is as public as you can get. So lay it on us. Like how do you manage the husband wife? We're both on LinkedIn, which can pretty much suck your entire life down. Do you like communicate via LinkedIn DM? I mean, how do you roll?
That would be adorable. No, we're usually like right next to each other. Like we're usually like either right next to each other or like right now. I can kind of hear him. He's downstairs, I'm upstairs, but no, like I think I started it. No offense, Ben. I started it, but he's better at it. But also technically he's better at his account, I will say. Is what I will say. And I focus most of my energy on like company pages, which sometimes makes me sad. So I'm trying to be more like Ben. But no, we show each other love when it warrants it. For a while, Ben What was it that somebody said in your inbox about your LinkedIn presence?
Oh, that I mentioned you too frequently.
Yeah.
Because I had promoted work that you were doing or events that you were speaking at, and there were a handful of folks on the platform who were not happy about that for, I don't know, some reason, presumably because they're sad, but that's just my projection.
Yeah. Because they've never had somebody love them that much to promote their LinkedIn events the way that my husband does. I think that's really what it was.
You know, all right. So Ben, so we've heard a little bit from Kate. Now, do you? I want to hear directly from you too. I want to hear, like, how do you manage, not just like taking in some, maybe a little bit of criticism, because that's what, it wouldn't be LinkedIn if we didn't have somebody telling us what to do. But alas, like, how do you manage just, I don't know, the time, like that's kind of the thing that kind of comes back to me, because it's for those of us who are really into it, it's an extraordinarily time consuming experience. So how do you create balance? Like, I guess that's maybe what I'm looking for.
I think it can be. As far as criticism, I was a newspaper columnist for the better part of a decade, so I'm a firm believer in the fact that if you aren't occasionally receiving hate in messages, you're not doing anything worth reading. So that's actually great. That's also not an invitation to flood my inbox with hate. Please don't do that. But as far as time, I think genuinely for a personal account, right? I'm not managing a host of corporate accounts. I only have to worry about myself and my very tiny audience. I think for most people, you can be relatively successful and active on LinkedIn in 20 or 30 minutes a day. If you are judicious with your time, if you plan your content, and if you kind of develop a strategy for yourself, meaning much of my content is original and I spend a good deal of time writing and creating that content. I'm also a writer, so I can do that very quickly in a lot of respects. But much of my content is also sharing the work of others, promoting the work of others, trying to give a signal boost to folks who are doing good work. And, you know, that's still technically content, but in terms of time commitment, requires relatively little. Now, I would also add that I probably spend an inordinate amount of time just scrolling LinkedIn and reading and listening and commenting. That probably takes more of my time personally than the time I spend curating, creating content, and setting up kind of a content calendar every week.
Okay. All right. So I appreciate that. Right. So you basically have a framework through which you approach the platform, and then you manage. So basically it isn't taking over your life, right? It pretty much is, at times it can take over mine. So, and that's one of the reasons why I need to step back from the show for the time being, right? I needed to create a boundary. Sometimes that boundary needs to be made, kind of in a sudden sort of unilateral way. At least for me, that's how I can find, some success, or at least I'm able to achieve that. So appreciate that you're able to set this kind of a system, right? And you're able to move content through it, and you're able to then, create some balance and some boundaries in and around, so that you can enjoy being married to Kate. Right. So awesome. All right, so we are at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, or 5:28. I want to say welcome to a few folks in the house, and thank you, Elijah, for engaging everybody in the comments. Mark Mack is here, leaving us some saucy comments. Got a Leslie Flowers as well. I want to say thanks to Leslie. I see Nadine coming in from YouTube. All right, so Nadine Hare, who is the host of the Goblet of Hotness, which is one of my favorite features of the show, and frankly, if we have a season 5, I'm bringing that thing back, because I love the Goblet of Hotness. It's the best. It's one of my favorite, characters. And maybe we'll build out Hank and Sparquet de Pouf, right? So
I think Nadine had 3 iPhones going to make that thing happen. All the different camera angles. It's pretty fancy.
Yeah,
I like
she's a boss. Now, so Kate and Ben, do you know Nadine here?
Yes, actually,
Okay.
so I want to say that we met on TikTok. I think, and obviously now we're connected on LinkedIn too. But I think it was TikTok that we
Okay.
met. I want to
Right
say.
on. Right on. All right. So you know
Yeah.
she's a writer and she's based in, we call her the Brexican because she's from England, but she lives in Mexico City, which is like the coolest thing ever. And I met her via Rachel Pierce, who that's basically what she said. She's just cool. She's just so cool. So that just rings in my ear. So anyway, thanks for Nadine. So we got it looks like Amara is here, but going by Amara R.
She couldn't find the LinkedIn event link, so she's second besting herself to YouTube's.
Okay,
Nadine.
so Nadine, I have left
in the same
so
house.
many links. I have left literally every post that I have made this week has a link to this show on LinkedIn.
Says she's too busy with her current job to know this. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a fancy new marketing job that she has.
She does have a fancy new marketing job.
It's a struggle. Can't find the
all right.
LinkedIn
So
links.
Amara R is her middle. Okay, thank you, Amara.
She should get Ben to teach her how to find the link. He's pretty good at this LinkedIn thing. Yeah.
I try to, all right. So here we are. Sorry, I was talking and you were talking, Elijah. There are links, Nadine. There are links. All right. So last week I was in Mexico, and it was tremendous. And I was thinking about Nadine because she's in Mexico City. I love to go to Mexico because the food is so good, right? It's so much better there than really anywhere else that I've ever been. And I've been a few places, not just my backyard, right? It's really, really good. And so I'm like, I want to eat more of that food. And I think about Nadine, who's in Mexico City. And I think the food in Mexico City has got to be the best food on earth. Right? Because they got these fancy chefs there, like literally.
It's too spicy for you though.
Oh, I know. I can't wait to go back. All right. Sorry. I digress too much. You didn't say the magic words. All right, but we are at we need to get started on Hotness Unleashing, okay? Because that is the point of the show. We've been talking about ourselves too much. Trips to Mexico and Syracuse and Western Toronto and you name it. All right.
The redheads in Mexico.
All right.
It's magic.
Right. All right. I can't wait to get to Mexico City. All my kids were like, "Where should we go next?" Mexico City, they said. Okay, let's go. So Nadine, it's coming. I'm not sure when, but it's coming. So, all right. Round one, Hotness Unleashing. We're gonna have 4 Hotness Unleashers tonight, 2 each from Ben and Kate. Right. So we're gonna get started. Are you ready, Elijah, to get us?
Amber is a content marketer who loves train ASMR. Toot. If you want to sell, you need good content. The primer for prospect, booking and promo, great content. If they're lost, they don't get what you're doing, it's kind of meh. Move on to somebody else. But doing it alone is a slog. It takes a village. Just ask Trevor, a content creator spreading love and kindness. It's not easy. Amber helps you toot through your content, ensuring you have the personality, pizzazz, and curating all the content to sell the things you want to 10x, a billion on, I think. Check out her newsletters about mental health, B2B news, and founders behaving badly. Oh, I love me some sweet tea, Kate. What else do you want to share about Amber?
Amber is brilliant. Amber is a person who speaks her mind and understands trends and basically is just one of the most authentic people on LinkedIn. And I love that she takes time, not just for client work, but for her own endeavors, like the B2B bulletin, which is so funny. It's literally like, I feel like it's like the Onion for B2B. And then, Founders Behaving Badly is her fantastic newsletter where she basically just spills the tea on all of the terrible, gross things happening in like the corporate world. I love her. And she used to be one of my clients and we're still friends.
All right. So corporate world, do you mean like the sassy startup world, or do you mean like enterprise?
All of it. So like, I feel like she covers things if they are like super newsworthy. I don't think she does like enough of the like, I don't know, like she doesn't talk smack about like our friends. Like she's more talking smack about like the big dogs that get crushed in the news, but with her own spin.
Okay.
But
All right.
she
Now, does
probably
she-
has tea about the people we work with too. But she likes money probably.
Yeah, well, there's that, right? We have
Yeah.
to balance those things. So, all right, so now Elijah really tuned into the ambient train sound enthusiast notion, and
It's
so
fun.
this allows me to to tell a story. All right, so
Oh,
tell us. I know. You can. It's happening. All right, it's really happening. So, my wife and I, our first apartment. All right, is this apartment in downtown Bellingham, Washington, and it's like I don't know, a block from and visible to this like main train like passing station thing, right? And this is a long time ago. She and I have been married longer than 11 years or 5 or a long time.
20.
30 years. So we're it's a long time ago. So and we got this apartment and we love the apartment. It's got a nice view. It's super cheap. It's really small, but then it comes in, why is it so cheap? Why is it so cheap? Because there's no AC. It gets really hot. So you can only sleep with the windows open. And at 2, 3, 4, 5 every hour on the hour, freight trains come through. Ding, 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 ding. And it's not ambient train sound. This is rumble, and this
Not a happy little toot toot by chance.
No, it's major crossing through the city, with the with the arms and the whole ding ding thing, and literally you either die of suffocation from the heat, or die of jumping out the window because you've literally lost your mind over the ceaseless ambient train sound. And it's only this year, I think, or maybe it was last year, but it's only recently that the city dwellers have been successful at prevailing upon the Federal Train Safety Board, whatever, to get the trains to stop their honking, literally through the central part of town and quiet things down. So
should just threw something on the tracks and derail them. That would have taught them a lesson.
Well,
teach them. Stick it to the train,
Occasionally people will do things that are a little bit a little aggressive, but they get arrested and go to jail.
Yeah. And they wouldn't have the Hotness and Leisure show. That'd be bad news.
The Hotness and Leisure show, so
good.
there's not that, right? So so any case, I like ambient train sounds. I don't live close to the trains anymore, and I can hear them like in the distance. Right?
In your nightmares.
It's there, so I get that, but so I want to say, Kate, I think I know Amber. We don't hang out or anything. Yeah, we don't really hang out. I'm gonna have to go and check and make sure that I know her. So remind me again, where did you guys connect? How did you meet?
That is a really good question. I think we met on LinkedIn. So the internet's fun like that. So I think we met on LinkedIn. And then we basically started having these little just Zoom calls, just Zoom hangs. Because I think at the time I was a content marketer. I was a content team of 1. And I think she was maybe a content team of 2. She was running social at User Gems. And she basically was just like, hey, let's connect. And so we had a call, and then we started having regular calls. And actually we would talk a lot about freelancing. This was before either of us were doing it full time. And we were just kind of freelance curious and doing some projects on the side. And then she was like, hey, I need some help at User Gems now that I'm stepping into this head of content role. Would you like to help with social, on a freelance basis? And I said, yes. And then when she left and decided to also become a freelance content and social person, I was very sad, but I was also very grateful for her because I still work with User Gems and they're fantastic. So yeah.
Awesome. So you kept the account and she moved on. So
yes.
So congratulations on that. Well played in this merciless cutthroat business environment.
No,
right?
She didn't want it anymore.
She was done.
She did a fantastic job. She had been there for years, and when you've done something for years and you're just done. So so she's running other accounts. She runs, I believe, Lupin Ty and Marvin. So go check them out. All of those accounts. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll do. All right. So I forgot to remind the audience that please tag any of our Hotness and Leisures in the comments in LinkedIn so that they see notifications and are see that they were mentioned on this show in a happy, lovely way.
Show them the love.
Yes. So to you, Amber, welcome to the Hotness Unleashed Show community that is still here, right? We're still a thing, even if the show is going to take a little break. So, like we're loosely kind of affiliated, and I think the guests at least are happy to have been on the show, and so welcome into this, right? This is a safe space. We support people. That's our mission, and we celebrate awesomeness. And so you have been that for Kate. So welcome to Hotness Unleasher community. All right. So that brings us to our second Hotness Unleasher of the night, Elijah. Let's roll.
Stephanie elevates careers, converting educators into corporate leaders. Transition from teaching to professional careers because crying children who like to lick the floor instead of playing at recess is not for the faint of heart. You feel me? Ugh. Stephanie received a $30,000 raise after landing an ed tech job, and she wants to share that secret sauce with you. So kindly included some newsletters, free resources, and testimonials in her feature section. Check them out to help you decide if she's a fit for you. So Ben, how does Stephanie fit into your life?
Yeah, so I became familiar with Stephanie through her content, through running in similar circles and sharing connections. But what really impressed me was not only her own transition and the business that she's built, Elevated Careers, but the fact that, so much of what she's doing, she is actually offering for free and using her content to share helpful material without the sort of stench of acrimony and despair that tends to accompany a lot of the folks who are solely making their living selling on LinkedIn. And, both of the folks that I wanted to highlight was in part because they have a very genuine spirit of helping others and wanting to improve the lives of others and make a difference for other folks, which I really appreciate and respect. So she is just someone who, as I was starting on LinkedIn and beginning to develop an audience, really took inspiration, which is a kind way of saying stealing her approach to LinkedIn and to the platform, which is to say trying to create content that may have a bit of myself in there, but more often than not is trying to exist in service to others. So she is someone who is really well established, but does a great job of not only connecting with others, but providing useful content for others. And is someone who I always just see bringing a very egalitarian spirit to the platform, which I find really rare in a place where folks tend to kind of brag about themselves and promote themselves. And she is someone who is always, promoting other people and working to help other people, which, as I said, is something I really admire and respect about her.
And you said that the content, like her content is free. So I want to expand on that a little bit. So she's actually giving some of her, like, I don't know, educational content or instructional content, which might be otherwise fee-based, but she's structuring it in a way that it's accessible at no charge.
Yeah. And, I'm not familiar with all of the services that she provides, but so much of her content, yes, is giving and providing information that folks can use, whether it's in their job search, to improve their application materials, to better understand fields and industries, and even material directly related to for folks in education to better understand the corporate world. Since so many folks, if you've worked in academia, there is a reasonable chance that you may not have worked any serious length of time outside of education or outside of academia. So even understanding what that other world wants and requires is, I think, not only really important, but there's a lot of bad information out there. And I think one of the things that she's very skilled at is filtering out potentially bad advice to steer folks in the right direction.
Awesome. Terrific. Well, thank you for finding her, and thank you for bringing her into the Hotness and Leadership community. So I'm digging it, right? That she sounds terrific and sounds like an amazing resource, and somebody that you have really, like, I mean, you said it yourself, just emulated her stuff. I mean, I would try to emulate Kate, but I don't play the guitar. I don't sing particularly well, so I made a live stream show. So that's just kind of what the inspiration was. So
Play piano though.
I pretend to play the piano, Elijah, but sure, by all means.
Fooled me.
Yeah, I'm okay, great, terrific. I know what the instruments are. I even have a guitar, short
instrument
that I made.
Okay.
Yeah, so
banjo.
All right, no.
You seem more like a banjo guy, really.
I was actually a trombonist in elementary school. So
Do you have the arm length for the slide? Like that's a lot of effort.
I know.
Your shoulder okay?
I actually had extraordinary lung capacity.
I thought you were going to say pecs.
Well, there's that too. Of course.
Bragging in high school. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Whatever. All right. So
crazy kids.
Stephanie, somebody please, a couple more tags for Stephanie, please. Welcome to Hotness and Leadership Community. Ben, thank you so much for bringing her in tonight with us. All right. We needed to spend a minute or two or five or something because we haven't really hit on it too much. We talked about the dynamic duo, the power couple, but we also talked a little bit about, initially one of our themes was going to be All in the Family, of course, but then we kind of weren't. I took it over. I made a unilateral decision to name the theme. But Kate, you said you want to talk about brand, right? You want to talk about like personal brand. So go. Just start talking.
Okay. Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. Oof. Okay. This is a lot.
Pressure.
So, the idea of a person as a brand can be very cringy. It can feel like we're in a capitalist hellscape if you're like, oh my gosh, I have to be a brand now as a person. But I have found personally that once you start thinking about your online presence as somewhat separate from you, but also part of you, you can really build an audience that you actually want to connect with and want to communicate with, and it can bring a lot of joy to your life. So for example, Trevor, you said like you saw my silly video on TikTok and connected with it, and like if you weren't like a silly, fun, goofy person, you wouldn't have liked it, and I wouldn't have liked you. And so I think that putting yourself out there in an authentic way is really what personal branding is all about. And also, I would say a lot of people say, like, what do I write about? What do I write about? So there's this framework that Alex Lieberman has. It's very simple. It's kind of similar to just the old write what you know and write for your audience. So basically what you're going to do to pick the things that you're talking about from your personal brand account, you're going to focus on what do you know a lot of? What could you talk about forever knowledgeably? Or what are you learning? So as an example, I know writing. I have been a writer for over 12 years professionally. I am learning to be a full-time freelancer. I've only been doing that for 2 years. I'm definitely not an expert, but I'm always learning, so I'm sharing what I'm learning. The second thing that you want to focus on is what your audience cares about. So if for me, I want to attract people like Amber, or who Amber was in her past life, like a head of content or a VP of marketing, I want to speak to them and what they care about. Thankfully, there's a lot of overlap there. So I want to like write about things that I know a lot about and that they care a lot about. And then the third one is what you enjoy and what you want to talk about, because you're not going to do it if you don't enjoy it. And the biggest part of LinkedIn and personal branding in general is consistency, really showing up again and again, and showing up in a consistent way is what's going to build you that audience, and what's going to build you connections and a network. And as I have proven, you really can rely on your network to provide opportunities. And we provide opportunities to each other. And it can be a fantastic thing, honestly. And yeah, definitely DM me if you have any questions. Happy to answer them.
Go ahead, Elijah. Go
I
ahead.
just wondered if I post in the way that I talk to myself in a mirror because it's what I care about, is that ruining my personal brand? Or is that going to be something I can lean into, like the TikTok of Kate's and the guitars?
Yeah. I don't know. I think like imagine that if you're your target audience, like talk to yourself.
If I'm
Yeah,
not,
do
would I
it.
just throw everybody for a loop and they wouldn't know? They just hit like, go away? Is that, am I ruining things? I don't know.
I think people could like it. People might enjoy your authentic self, your weird moments of solitude self.
Also, not all content needs to be for everyone.
No.
In fact, I'm a firm believer in the sort of 1%er principle, where something that you're creating might not have broad appeal, but that's not the point. Sometimes those niche things really help you find your audience. And I would rather have a few thousand incredibly engaged folks who want to hear what I have to say and who are interacting than having tens of thousands of folks who are ambivalent to what I'm doing, right? The former is much, much more valuable.
So not necessarily for the virality or the likes, but to do it for the self-love and maybe for Ben, emulate what he does and be successful. Who knows?
I like it. I know, Kate, I want to build on one thing, and then we have to switch back to our second round of Hotness Unleashers. I love that you explicitly gave permission to talk about what you're learning about. That's a big deal, particularly for sellers, right? So I relate to salespeople, but I don't want to talk about sales, right? I get sucked into talking about sales because I know it, right? It's part of my DNA. I am a mutant now, right? It's just how it is. But I get tired of talking about the same old sales. It's like, okay, whatever. So I want to talk about what I'm learning about, right? So I'm learning about, specific niche concepts. I'm particularly invested in the cybersecurity industry and learning a lot about how that's organized. And so I'm excited about that. And so what you've done for me tonight in this show is given me permission to talk more explicitly about that, right? So now I can kind of move on without sort of upsetting or otherwise derailing my personal brand per se. All right. So thank you for that, Kate.
I love it.
I am better now. All right.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
Don't give him permission to go on old man tangents, though, please.
All right. No, okay, we're done.
That's the permission I'm giving. Like that sounds.
That's
honestly
not good for his personal brand because everybody will go away. Oh,
I'm going to San Francisco. Going to RSA in less than 2 weeks.
So many tangents.
Oh, you are?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm running promos for that right now. I was just creating graphics for it like a minute before I jumped on this call.
There's so many big selfie parties that you're gonna engage in and have fun.
So many selfie parties.
They keep posting on LinkedIn. Come join us for the pictures. I don't know.
We're gonna selfie it up. Yeah, that's right. All right. So, okay, now it's time out. Hotness Unleasher round 2. Elijah, number 3. Can you run it?
If you feel that sleeping is a requirement, then you and Bridget probably won't get along at all, because this creative partner is probably from outer space because she's smiling hard and not twitching from obsessive caffeine mode. She does not sleep. 10 years of marketing has led her from ad agency to startups, and after startups, probably going to hit the beach, maybe even sleep a little bit. Who knows? She's done some great work wearing many hats, so when you connect with Bridget, head to her website. Maybe when you're sipping coffee at the local cafe, scrolling LinkedIn, avoiding doing real work, because that's what everybody does before 9 a.m. Am I right? Kate, how do you know Bridget? Are you taking selfies on the subway with her, or what?
So actually, we have never met in person, which is really weird to me because she's fantastic. I'm a big fan of her work. I started following Bridget when she was the director of content and brand at Postal. And that was back when I was at Mailshake singing those silly songs. And honestly, I just love her personality. I love her perspective. Pretty much everything she says online, I agree with. And she's just so smart. She actually just launched, I want to say this week, I think maybe she was in stealth mode last month, but she launched a little agency with 2 other wonderful marketers. It's called Creative Little Planet. And yeah, I'm excited to see what she does next. And I do hope to meet her in person someday because she's great.
It's 100% worth it, right? I mean, meeting your LinkedIn pals on IRL is terrific. That's one of the reasons I love going to RSA. So do it. Is she in the United States, or what's stopping you?
Nothing's stopping me. Like I think that I don't go to a lot of conferences. I was lucky. I met Amber at a conference last April. That was great. And I met some other people that I've worked with. Again, I've met people at Inbound, at some other conferences. But yeah, no, we'll have to sync up. Funnily enough, I did meet Tim Davidson in Boston, not in Rochester, even though we literally live an hour apart. I met him in Boston.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. All right. So with that, and I got distracted because her profile has Dave Gerhardt in like a social proof or something. I didn't quite.
He was just saying that she's great because
okay, awesome. Well, okay, but he's in the news, like in the whole B2B sassy kind of little echo chamber because he's managed to piss everybody off because Exit 5 has got their conference and he's like denying people their admittance. So
yeah, I haven't been denied yet, but I assume I will be because it's a very small conference. I think it's like 230 people. Don't quote me on that, but it's a very small conference. Yes.
Okay. All right. So well done, Dave, to create some FOMO or whatever, right? So you got all this whole LinkedIn thing talking about you on Hotness and Leisure show now, and go Exit 5. Okay.
Big deal.
I was all mad because I didn't get to go to this winter spring thing because they said no salespeople allowed.
Wait, which one?
That was the thing down in Austin.
I didn't go. I didn't go because fractional and agency people had to pay more. So I was like, "What are you talking about? I pay my own taxes and health insurance."
Yeah.
sirs.
Like what? Yeah. Why do I got to pay? Yeah. So I mean, that was like point blank, large, bold letters.
Yeah.
No salespeople allowed. Boom. I'm like, you suck. All right. So, in any case, I've tried to move on, but I haven't yet.
I now have a grudge for you. Like I feel the grudge that you are feeling, and you have moved it onto me. I am in your corner.
Okay. I love that. Thank you so much. All right. Which brings us to the last Hotness and Leisure of the night.
This one's for Ben. Pivoting and women leadership growth. Erin, she's a pro at helping career changers move to their next role to make it as easy as walking on sunshine. She helps with resumes, interview prep, and makes time to guide you through the stressful times that aren't as fun. They make you pull your hair out during that career change when it takes place. I mean, the career change and the bonus is awesome, but until you're there, She's currently head of strategic account management at Amazon, so I think she knows a thing or two about career. I mean, I hear good things about Amazon sometimes. And the nice thing, she has a free template for your next cover letter and resume on her website. So check it out. I hear it's ATS friendly and easy to edit. Cool. Ben, what else do you want to share about Erin?
So Erin was someone who was incredibly kind and gracious, generous to me at the start of my own career transition. She was someone whose content I found randomly, and when I had literally a few dozen connections on LinkedIn, she offered to have a coffee chat, to meet with me, to talk about roles that I was pursuing, and that kindness and generosity has just sort of stuck with me for the last almost 5 years or so. So much of what I've been doing has just been trying to pay forward that level of kindness that she showed me so early in my time on LinkedIn, when she had no business talking to me. There was nothing to be gained by talking to a random person and giving me her time in that way. So if there's any one person who has kind of inspired much of the content that I've made over the last few years, it is her. So I just wanted to highlight the work that she is doing and the spirit and generosity that she is bringing to that work.
Man, wow. What an awesome, a lot of these relationships are so kismet, right? Like they happen when we need them in a way that it really enables us to grow. And so thank you for bringing her in. And, I love that we've been able to highlight how important some of these roles are, some of these interactions have been, and coming full circle back to you, Kate, just saying like, wow, like here you were making like one of the first people that I could find in the demand gen space in and around make a TikTok. Like, what does that even look like? How do you even go about that? And what an impact that had on me. And then here we are, however many years later, how Erin is still part of your story, right, Ben? And so thank you for highlighting her. Thank you for bringing her in. And so with that, we're at time. And one of my commits to this community is to
less tangents.
Well, is to keep the tangents within an hour. Period.
So nice of you, Trevor.
We're there, right? So we're going to wrap it up. I want to say thank you to everybody who came out. My cousin showed up, Eric Van Worden. He lives outside of Chicago. We got to visit him a couple of months ago, so that was great. Thanks for showing up. Kenny Dunner, Nick Ngai Galindo, obviously Matt McGraw, who I have never seen in the audience before. Thank you, Matt, for coming out tonight. Lisa Favec, again, apologies that we're not going to get to your episode this season, but we're going to hold it out there.
Mark Mack was nice enough to talk about my sweet vocal cords. I'm blushing, but thank you, Mr. Mack, for starting the conversation with me.
You did have a certain smokiness to you tonight.
I have hell of a cold and voice is cracking, so I pulled it together just for you.
It's
Trevor.
all good, man. It's all good. So Nadine and Amara, thanks for coming out. Leslie, of course. Man, just such a great group. Desiree, sorry that you didn't get the news, but I tried to, throw it out there. And with that, I want to say thank you for giving me the space to step back for a little while and to, take care of some other things that I need to focus on for this season of my life. And it has been nothing but a pleasure to host this show, to have some fun, have a few laughs, have you and, Ben and Kate come on and just, participate in this. And I've been wanting to get you on this show for a long time, Kate, and I'm glad that, we finally kind of got you in here. And
Ben too.
Yeah, well, and Ben too, of course, but
poor guy. You're the hottest couple on LinkedIn. You have to have them on
of course.
And
it was always going to be the married couple thing. It was always going to be the Kate and Ben show. And so just like it just made sense. And I'm happy to leave it right where it is.
Irwin's excellent adventure.
Excellent adventure.
Nice. Yeah.
And so, with that, I want to say thanks to everybody for a great season 4. I've had nothing but terrific fun. And to you, Elijah.
Hello.
As well. Thank you. Thank you
for
supporting this. And I want to do a shout out for your business, your podcast sidekick, that you are open and looking for clients and are willing to take them on. So if anybody out in the audience, or if anybody knows anybody who knows anybody who's, working on a podcast and needs some help, and I can say that help is critical. Right? Like this show leveled up so much when you came in, and it's just, it made my life so much easier. It wouldn't have been doable. There would have been no season 4. Season 3 would have petered out.
We got you off the Prozac. It's nice.
Got me off the Prozac, right?
I like that. Smiles.
I'm smiles, right? Doing the thing. And now here we are, and we're gonna take a break in a great space. And, with that, I want to say thanks again and good night. Love to all. You're the best. The more cringe, the better. All right. Let's connect together and
we feel all right.
All right. I'm so excited.
Tingly.
I'm
all over.
I'm tingly.
Tingly.
I'm tingly. It's Hotness. Unleash her.